Hello, welcome everybody. Just finishing some moves because, well, it's just fun to move, right? But you know that it's crap. It would never work in the street. And we'll get more into that in a little bit. But first, as always, we're here in the basement of Physique Magnifique, our home. Come visit us anytime you're in the area. That's 387 Grand Avenue in South San Francisco. It's a great facility. 2 floors. Like I said, this is the basement. Boxing ring behind me, weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting by an actual U.S. Olympic team coach. So get some good stuff. And then upstairs we have all the other goodies for whatever you need, whether it's pumping iron or getting your cardio down, losing a few pounds, all different kinds of programs. So if you know somebody that needs it, well, don't tell it to their face. But if you're good friends that way, definitely tell them to come down to Physique Magnifique where they'll be treated like family. Now, getting back to what I was saying at the beginning, all these moves that I'm doing, they look pretty. They look clean. I've worked on them. But not specifically, and that's because of the way that I was training. But the first thought that some people might have had when seeing these movements is, oh, that's crap. Now, they're respectful enough that they wouldn't say it to my face. They'd be kind enough to say, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. But in the back of their heads, they're like, that's shit. Now, I only say that simply because that used to be me. And I've always been respectful in that sense because I know to not, piss on anybody simply because I disagree with what they're doing, or more importantly, I don't understand what they're doing or why they're doing it that particular way. So early on in my martial arts career, if you can call it that, I knew what I knew, and I was very gung-ho, and I really believed in everything that was taught to me to such a degree that that was the backdrop that I used to evaluate everything else that I saw. So if I saw something that was cool, that kind of fit into the niche of what I was already doing, it was great. Outside of that, it was crap. Now, I wouldn't say that to people to their face, of course. Again, we are respectful. That's one of the major things that we learn in martial arts. But is it still respectful if in your head you're thinking those things negatively? Can you really say that you are a respectful person if in the back of your head you're like, I would never work that way? And completely dismiss whatever that person is doing simply because that's your initial thought. Now again, that was me. So what happened? Well, as I continued training and I began to understand more and more, my focus of training shifted. Now, part of that is because of the way that I was taught in the Bladed Mind is to think about things. If it conceptually up here makes sense, then it's going to come out in your hands. The development, depending on the individual, you can go to the point where you're razor sharp, or you can be a blunt instrument, but still, because you get it mentally, those things work. And I'm not talking techniques, I'm talking concepts. And that was the difference, because at one point, all I understood, or better yet, all I knew was the physical stuff, the movements, the ups and downs, my angles of attack, the pros and cons, and the drills that I knew in reference to those motions. So that was what I compared everything else with. How can a hard style or a fast style, or even one that's weapon oriented, compare to a soft style? Something that's smooth, that's elongated, that has entire body movement, which I didn't do. Those things didn't make sense to me because this is what I knew. So as I progressed in my studies, because that's what it's become now, is a study. It's not really training. Training is what I do to explore the things that I learned in my studies, to understand, to have a deeper knowledge of what I'm trying to accomplish with it. And as that became deeper within myself, I learned more about me. Why do I spend so much time on the mental aspect, on the understanding of the individual in front of me, whether they're trying to kill me or whether they're trying to shake my hand? I want to understand them just the same. A lot of it comes with my own personal life, not what I was taught in the Bladed Mind, although I will say that the Bladed Mind is heavily oriented on the ideas, not what we do, but how it's taught, and inevitably how the individual then takes it and understands it and makes it their own. That's what I got from Danny's Bladed Mind. Rick just reinforced it, and now I'm doing my own thing, right? Big shout out to my instructors and everybody else who has influenced my thought process, because I have been influenced by a lot of people, a lot of great martial artists. And that's why I continue to do this, because it's become a bit of a responsibility to share with you this process. Because as it was at one point, it was, I know my stuff. Oh, that stuff doesn't compare to my stuff. My shit is better. I didn't say it, but I definitely thought it, and I definitely felt that way. So there was a bit of arrogance that came with, yeah, that's cute. But that's fucked up. Sorry to swear, but that is. And I've learned that because now I know that the reason why it's become an understanding of individuals is because part the Bladed Mind, but the other part is me. My life, the way I came up, never felt like I was understood. So inevitably, that's what I'm trying to do now by understanding myself and understanding other people. In the process of martial arts, if I can understand the person in front of me and their intent, then it's a lot easier to defend against than if I were to just think I know what's happening and get hurt or attack somebody when I didn't need to. And to me, that becomes very important in the aspect of protecting yourself outside of the training. And because of that, I no longer look at people's stuff and say, oh, that's crap. Oh, that wouldn't work. I genuinely stop and do my very best to understand why they do what they do. Is it the history of their art? Is it their personal history? Most likely, it's a combination of the two. Maybe they were brought up by a very old school master who needed everything to be done at a certain pace, at a certain time, certain lines, fit this box. And that person happened to fit that box very well, was very comfortable there, and they've excelled in it. And then you have the guy next to him who really sucks at it, but is still there. So is it really the art or is it the individual? And that's where the other half of that process comes in. The individual adds to it. If they are really, really good, it's because they became that good. It just so happens that this is the art that they were doing it in. Now, how that art fit with them or whether they fit into the art, that's not the point. The point is that's what it is. And if I dismiss that, then I'm dismissing the effort that that person put into what they are now accomplishing. Whether I agree or disagree with the way that they're doing it, it doesn't change the fact that they're able to do it. And as long as they're able to do it and show it, well, then there's something there. And if I completely dismiss it because of my own biases, well, then I'm not a very good student, in my opinion. So now I've gotten to a point where I do look at everything and I do believe that everything is useful and everything can work if I understand it well enough. So if I don't, well, that's on me. Or maybe my instructors who sucked at teaching me. But sorry folks, that's just a jab at, the other guy. But it does. Because I think that at this point, I really have to take responsibility for my own growth and for my own understanding. And that is going to be the backdrop by which I evaluate everything else. Because here's the thing, folks, and this is my opinion. I could be wrong. We all judge. It's inherent. It's in our primitive brain to determine whether something is or isn't dangerous. But now we're no longer in the Wild West. We're no longer in the times where we have to fight off bears just to protect our home or have to, keep our mail safe because we're 11 on the Pony Express trying to cross the Wild West. Because, they were 11 years old crossing the Wild West on horseback just to deliver mail. And they had to know how to shoot and, survive. That was the time that was needed. And even though in the Wild West there weren't martial arts, but they had a warrior mentality. And isn't that where martial arts comes from? That warrior mentality, the warring states, then when wars are over and peace is achieved, what do the warriors do? They have nothing else. So they either become bandits, fall into obscurity, or they pass on their art. But because it's time of peace, you can't teach all the deadly stuff anymore. It's no longer a mentality of kill or be killed. Now it's a mentality of, if somebody is trying to kill me, this is where I should go. But for the rest of the stuff, that's the art. That's the expanding of movements and becoming katas and becoming forms, because that expands the class. That creates a livelihood. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you break it down to it, depending on what you're focusing, whether it's sports, whether it's combat, whether it's self-defense, it's all the human body, and it all comes down to the individual and what they understand. We're not in the warring states anymore. We're not in a time where we have to carry guns and we have to carry knives, even though some will argue that, yeah, we are. Because just like back then, people who don't follow the law, who don't care about the law, who are just going to take, whether it's take your things or take your life, they exist. They're there. There may be naysayers that say, no, it's not. Sorry. Based on the things that I've learned, based on the things that I've seen in my own personal studies, yeah, it's still there. It might not affect 90% of the people, but it's still there. So what is it that we're learning? Are we learning how to judge other people and say that, this is crap or that's not good, my stuff is better, my art, my instructor? Or are we saying, you know what? I'm going to learn as much as I possibly can, because I may not need it right now, but I might later down the road. Or, like me, it's no longer about needing it or not. It's about how far can I go? How much can I learn? How many bridges can I cross from this art to that art to that art to what I do? I don't know. I don't know what your reasons are for training. I don't know why you're doing it. And whatever the reason is, it's a good one, because it's obviously got you training. It has you looking at these videos. It has you exploring other ideas and growing in your own way. And that's awesome. One way or another, I do feel that we all need to dedicate ourselves to some sort of, art or hobby or something that's going to better us as individuals. For me, it's this. And I no longer find myself comparing to others and saying this or that or anything, but really looking at what's being shown, how it's being shown, and trying to understand why it's being shown that particular way. If I can take even a sliver, even an ounce of something good that I can incorporate into myself, haven't I grown? Haven't I done that instructor justice by taking something away that's positive, instead of simply dismissing them because, it's not what I do? That's just, again, my personal journey. Can we bridge those gaps and really start looking at each other as fellow students? Whether we have the same belt system, whether we have the same name or umbrella of the arts, just look at each other as people who are striving to accomplish something, to grow within themselves. Because that's what I'm doing. And that's what I feel Rick is doing in a certain extent, and that's what I feel like Danny's doing. And then the tribe that we're creating, from our good friend Dennis to Mike Cardenas, they're constantly pushing to learn and elevate their own understanding of what it is that they're capable of with what they have. And that's a great group to be a part of. One day I hope that group is everyone. But we first have to let go of some of our egos to do that. And it's not easy. And it's not going to happen overnight. But as long as we're willing to, we can get there. Because one day somebody will come across that will say something that will trigger an idea, that will make you realize, or you'll get an instructor that just demolishes everything that you think you're good at. And you have to start from scratch. And that is a great place to be. And that's where I am. I'm at the beginning. I've reached no height. And part of what we're trying to accomplish is really get people's philosophies and even just their ideas and even the person out in front of people. Rick, you want to join me for this one? Because I think it's important that we
Hello, everybody.
share with people that apart from it being a fundraiser this coming June 4th, what are we doing?
You know, that's really good because Calling Conversation and Nain Shorts have always been not about us. It's about the people that we bring onto the show, their craft, their style, their systems, the stuff that they do, and that individual and how they got to where they're at. It's exactly what Nain is talking about. You look at everybody's stuff and say, I'm not interested.
Right.
But I tell you what, each one of our guests has a story to tell. And some of those stories are very incredible, very crazy and outrageous.
They're wild.
But a lot of the other stuff that they had talked about as far as their systems, even the fitness people that we've had, chiropractors, bodybuilders, they all have the same common goal, is to make themselves better and grow within what they're doing. And what a better way to get everybody to help grow in each other is by listening to what these people have to say and bringing out what they got and sharing it with everybody who's watching the show, including the other people who get to watch their episode, right? I mean,
that's true. Their old friends are like, "Oh, I didn't know that about that person."
Right?
I've never heard that
how
story.
cool is that we can do that, and we have a wonderful platform to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Now, the downfall of that is that it's costing us a lot of money. Gas prices have gone sky high. Food has gone sky high. We have to bring top ramen soup with us just so we can eat.
Yeah.
So and if we can find a microwave to heat the water, we're doing
not to
really
mention
good.
half the time I bring my children with me.
That's right. So it's gotten to a point where we just can't afford to keep the show going. So we're reaching out to everybody to join the fundraiser in Manteca.
June 4th, this
June
Saturday.
4th, Saturday. And then also, if you can't come down, there are donation buttons all over the description on each of the shows that we have out. Please help us out. Help us bring out more content to you guys.
Yeah, apparently liking and subscribing helps a lot too. So, if you need to sign up to YouTube.
Yeah, definitely subscribing.
Please do that.
We're almost at the 400 mark, which is, for us, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But we need 1,000. So
yeah, so we're a few, 600
600 short. Yeah.
So if you know 600 friends,
there you go.
because if you have
spread the word.
How many followers on Instagram or whatever platform you use,
invite them down here.
Have them all sign up, and then we'll be good. Then you won't have to donate. But until then, please do and look out, because again, a big part of why we're doing this is to show people these individuals, to share these individuals.
And these are people who otherwise never have been heard of, right? Other
Not
than
together,
their tight circle, right?
Yeah.
I mean, before we got to see Graciela Casillas, I didn't even know who she was.
No, I heard about her.
Same thing, you hear all these other guests that we've had on there, nobody would have ever known about them until they come on the show, and you're like, oh my God, that person's incredible.
Very funny.
And yeah, exactly. So this is what we're doing. This is what we bring to the table, and if you like what we're doing, please help us out. Donate what you can. Come to our events. Reach out to us if you have a particular person you want to get on the show.
Oh yeah, somebody that you think needs to be out there, whose story needs to be out there, because the internet is forever.
Yeah. So their legacy will live on in these shorts and in these episodes.
Not my shorts.
Yeah, he doesn't wear shorts, even though he has shorts. Right. So help us out.
Yes.
Join our cause, Calling Conversation and Nain Shorts. Give whatever you can. Hey, no amount too small.
Nope.
We'll gladly accept the thousands and the millions, sure.
Yeah.
But whatever you can. I mean, even if it's just food, we do need to eat while we're on the road.
We are pretty bad at that. We will work for food.
We will work for food.
We need a sign on cardboard.
Yeah. So I'm going to let you take this back. Again, folks, he'll tell you the rest.
Oh my goodness. So once again, that is the Kali Conversation fundraiser seminar. in Manteca. That's this Saturday, June 4th. And it's going to be a great time, a lot of wonderful people. And I want to just emphasize again, we're not showcasing any particular art. We are showcasing the individuals that happened to practice those arts. So for those of you who are coming, please make sure to pay attention to the individual. These 5 people here are Kelly Kusumoto, a wonderful wrestler. You have Conrad Bowie, who is the co-founder of Tiga Tactics, who is a real man. That's martial arts nerd, okay? We're not misogynistic, but he is a nerd. Seriously, meet the guy and he's deadly. Okay, we have Dennis Duarte, our chairman and founder as far as we're concerned, because this is, in large, his fault. So, thank you, Dennis, for that. Then we're going to have Bob Gomez. Oh my God, Bob Gomez, the wonderful instructor who I'm actually going to start training with soon, because I need to branch out. Again, I'm trying to cross those bridges as much as I can. And of course, our good friend, Nicholas Moreno, who trains Marines how to fight. And it's incredible. He's 6'4". He's a great guy, but he's scary. So pay attention to when he's talking. And really try to understand where these people are coming from, more so than anything else, because they are wonderful individuals. They are here helping us out, donating their time to support this cause, which has become a cause, because folks, it's not possible without you. It really isn't. So thank you very much for joining me on this Nain Shores. Hope to see you at the seminar. If not, hope to see your name in the donation list. Until the next one, 3, 2, 1, cut!